What happens when somebody's neurodivergent communication style gets pathologized in a coaching session? Yeah, when it ends up with the client being seen as somehow not engaging fully or not behaving how you expect. How do you handle that? I want to talk about two aspects of this today. The first one is alexithymia, which is very common in neurodivergent clients and also people who've been through trauma, whether that's post-traumatic stress disorder, complex PTSD, or non-subclinical trauma. This is something where people can really struggle to experience emotions. And yet so many coaches will ask the question, how do you feel? They might not actually be able to connect with an answer to that. They might need to talk about bodily sensations instead. And if you're going to go there, make sure you've had specific training on this, because if you start prodding around in bodily sensations, even over a Zoom screen, you do risk Pandora's box opening if you haven't been trained in how to do this properly. So not all clients can fully experience emotions the way that coaching assumes that they can. And then there's another really common thing in the neurodivergent world. Sometimes a person will show you they trust you and feel safe by doing what's called info dumping. I do this one all the time. And I do try quite hard to moderate it sometimes. If a client is kind of going blah and dumping all the information, and if they're ADHD as well, it might not be in a structured linear way. It might be jumping all the way around the place. That doesn't mean that they are obsessed with something, that they're fixated. It doesn't mean that they need counselling. It can be for a neurodivergent client that this info dumping is their way of saying, I trust you. You're a safe space for me. And thank you. But that doesn't mean you want your entire coaching session to be taken up with this info dumping that might not actually move anything forward. So it's really important to have had training in how to spot info dumping rather than a client being fixated with going round and round the same gerbil wheel. And how to be able to safely, effectively, without breaking that rapport and trust and that safe space, move a client into what needs to happen next to find the solutions. So there are many ways that communication style for a neurodivergent client can get pathologized, and the coaching client can think that there is a problem when there's not. And this is one of the reasons why it's so important, I think, for all coaches to have had at least foundation level training in neurodivergence, something that I cover on my Master Coach certification program, so that you can adapt and be truly inclusive in your coaching and be able to spot the hooray that a client trusts you and tell the difference between that and a client who's got an unhealthy fixation with something that's happened in their lives. We owe that to our neurodivergent clients. And frankly, it can make a big difference for the neurotypical clients too.